If you're a Canadian gardener and you're just starting out, you need to get Petunias. Hello, my Canadian gardeners, cold climate gardeners, and gardeners of the extremes. My name is Ashley. I'm a soil scientist by formal education with a minor in plant science. And on this channel, we take the old wives' tales and we apply them to science to work. And we even bring in some new ideas all about gardening, houseplant care, and everything else in between. So if you want more videos about that, be sure to hit that subscribe button and join our crew because it is awesome. So this video is actually spurred by one of my trending videos that I've received really good feedback on. So because it's trending and you guys clearly want more videos on petunias right now, that is what I'm bringing you today. And I've narrowed it down to my 3 favorite petunia varieties to grow in cold climates and in Canada. I narrowed these petunia plants down by their hardiness. So can they survive a drought in the prairies, and can they survive a sudden snowfall in Ontario in the middle of June? And then I also broke it down by growth habits, meaning I'm going to give you hanging basket varieties all the way to nice little potted plants. And of course, thirdly, because our world is so much different up here, I am also doing this based on availability, meaning all 3 of these varieties you can find at a local Loblaws store, Extra Foods Superstore, or at a Canadian Walmart, which is surprisingly important when it comes to talking about gear. At the end of this video, I am going to have a screenshot section that I like to call the Petunia cheat sheet that you can screenshot to bring with you to the greenhouse. On the cheat sheet, it's going to have all 3 varieties, and then it will allow you to design your containers, how many of each variety you need, and then the companion plants for it. So be sure to wait till the end of the video to get that sheet. It is going to help you a ton when you finally get to the greenhouse. But before we get into the 3 petunia types, we need to talk about petunia care. What we need to look for when we go to the store to buy them, what we need to do when we finally get them home before we transplant them outside in their pots, and then lastly, the actual care of the petunia. So when we go to the store, we want to make sure our petunias are not yet overgrown, meaning the less flowers we have on it, the more we have left of a life cycle. So that means when you're buying any petunia, it doesn't matter what variety it is, we want to go for something that's compact and doesn't have too many flowers on it. When it comes to care, sun. I cannot stress this enough. Leggy petunias and petunias that aren't flowering means they're not getting enough sun. 6+ hours is a necessary need for a petunia. Now, and we are in the greenhouse, and I'm going to show you 2 petunias and kind of how I selected them, just because I like to get the smallest, tiniest ones, and that is what is important when you are going to the greenhouse. So when we go to the greenhouse, what we're looking for is plants with no flowers. So these guys behind me, these are a really good example. These are nice, short, compact. That's what we're looking for in an ideal world. Something that's nice and tiny and not overgrown looking. Now, once we get them home and they're in the greenhouse or they're in our living rooms or in our garages, what we want to do is we want to go out every day and we want to deadhead even the ones that aren't meant to be deadhead. And this is the reason why. We want to try to put all our plants' focus into the roots and the vegetative leaf growth. That means the more leaf we have, the more photosynthesis that takes place, the more root density we have, the more nutrients and water that can be taken up into the plant. We want the plant to focus on vegetative growth and roots more than we want it to focus on flowering. We still have 2 to 3 weeks in Canada before these guys can even go outside. So if we can maintenance them and try to engineer them the way we want them to act, they're going to have a higher likelihood of surviving something like a prairie drought or an Ontario winter in June. So I'm going to show you quickly how to deadhead and fix up a plant that necessarily doesn't need to be deadheaded. So let's take a look. What we're looking at here, these are our flowers that are going to come. So we actually want to take these back And this guy I'm going to take back to here. And you can actually see my little pile I've been making over the days now. And then the ones that have the two coming out like this, these ones we are just going to snip off. So we just bring it down to those two there. And now this will actually sprout more vegetation. So yeah, we want to make sure we take all these back quite a bit. And again, this is just going to help support our growth when it comes to leafy greens and roots. And when I show you guys these flowers in a month or two, you're going to be blown away by the results of just some of these. And I'll do a video on how we plant these up and how we put these into containers and what they'll look like and kind of the frequency in which I plant them. So yeah. Now that is what if you can't supply them with 6+ hours of sun, I suggest just forgoing the petunias and trying out a different flower instead. Let me know down in the comments below if petunias won't work for you and what flowers you would like to see a video on, and I can make sure I get that done for you. The second need of a petunia is fertilizer, and I'm not talking just the weekly dosage. I'm talking you need to put these slow release kernels in. So when we pot up a petunia, we want to put those slow release pellets in as much as possible. The reason why they get so big and so overwhelmingly full looking is because they put a ton of nutrients into their upper gear, their leaves and flowers. To be able to support those leaves and flowers, we need to make sure we fertilize, not just with the liquid crystal fertilizer, but also with the pellets. And thirdly, probably the most important step and the number one reason why I see leggy petunias or petunias with no flowers or very few flowers actually comes down to watering. Petunias like water and they do not like to dry out. So that means in some cases, if you have a small hanging basket, you may need to water twice a day. Minimum, every petunia, doesn't matter what container it is, should be watered at least once a day. Now for you zone 3ers in Alberta and Saskatchewan, if you have a hot prairie summer, you need to be watering twice a day. I'm sorry, just the way it goes. If you're looking for tips on hanging baskets and how to make them retain a little bit more moisture, I will leave a video at the end of this video that will help walk you through the best way to conserve moisture in your hanging baskets. So now that we know all petunia stuff, let's get into the top 3 petunias every Canadian needs to try. The first one is probably the most obvious and you're gonna be like, yeah, okay, I got that. Wave petunias. Yes, wave petunias. They mound and they cascade. They are great for taller pots and they can take up a whole pot to their entire cells with just one plant. So if you're looking for a mono flower that's colorful and beautiful and is going to grow up as well as out and down, the wave petunia is the one to select. Now, if you put another flower in with this, it's probably going to override it and it's probably going to hide it. So if you're looking to put more than one type of flower in, I suggest an ornamental corn or an annual grass. These are going to be able to come up above that petunia wave mound, but again, they have to be tall. That is a requirement when planting with the wave petunias. The other bonus is that they do not have to be dead-headed. They do self-clean. However, if you miss watering or fertilizer or you have them in low sun, they will tend to get a little bit leggy. That means it's time to clip them up a little bit so that they can fill out and regrow. Number 2 is the Supertunia or Million Bells. Both will work. Supertunia has regular sized petunia flowers. Million Bells has the itsy bitsy tiny petunia flowers. It's kind of up to you what look you're going for, but they do the exact same thing. While they don't mound, they trail. And let me tell you, do they trail by feet. That means, again, any other type of potato vine or trailing plant you put in with it, it's probably going to get eaten up by the Supertunia or the Million Bells. However, if you put something a little bit taller in, not by much, a marigold for example, you will be able to put 2 plants in together. However, they do not do good in short pots. You're gonna wanna make sure your pot is either really tall or it's a hanging basket. This is one of my favorites because of the length it gets to, but it also is self-cleaning. That means there's no deadheading necessary. It will bloom all year long as you fertilize, give it sunlight, and lots of water. My third pick is got to be my favorite, and I'm gonna get backlash for this, but that's okay. Grandiflora. That is my favorite petunia. They have the big honkin' petunia flowers. They do not trail much, but they mound, and that means you can put other plants in the planters with it. The plants I usually plant with my grandiflora are things like alyssum or bacopa, and the reason being is bees and pollinators absolutely love these hanging plants. I like to switch it up. I don't like just petunias inside my baskets, and grandiflora means I have to get out and play with my pots. And for any gardener, that's a good thing. I have to deadhead those guys at least once a week, and it is rewarding because they keep on filling out and they keep on mounding bigger and better. Now, I really hope that this video was helpful to you guys. If it was, be sure to let me know down in the comment section below. Give it a like, a share if you think your friends would enjoy it. And again, make sure to that subscribe button because it is incredibly important to the growth of this channel. I want to thank all the new subscribers that have come around. There is a ton of you, and you're all leaving comments down below, which I love and adore because I answer all of them. So thank you for joining. There has been hundreds of you in the last week that have joined. I can't say hello and thank you to all of you. So this is from me to you. Thank you. The soil science series starts next week. Monday, I filmed 3 of 6 videos, and I'm super excited about that. It is all going to be about learning soil science, and I really hope that helps you out with homesteading, gardening, flowers, vegetables, and everything in between. But that is all I have for you guys today and the petunia world. I will talk to you again tomorrow, like always, because it is the busy season. Bye!